Very bright. Hebu uniletee chai na hiyo pesa. Niongeze gapi? 15. Chika. Thank you for joining. How are you doing today? Oh, that one is also very bright. Thank you guys for joining. How are you doing today, guys? Thank you for the like. How are you doing today, guys? This is okay. How are you doing? Hi too. How are you doing, guys? Let's tap. Wow, I'm thinking that this is TikTok, guys. Let's like the live, guys. Let's like the live. And guys, I'm going to appreciate. Please tell me, Zozek, just tell me, how are you doing today, guys? How are you doing today, guys? Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Thank you, guys. Happy Wednesday, guys. How are you doing today, guys? Let's like, share, as well as subscribe, guys. Let's like, share, and subscribe, guys. How are you doing today, guys? Thank you so much, guys, for the love. Thank you so much, guys, for the love. Let's keep on liking the live, guys. Let's keep on liking the live. Let's keep, guys, on liking the live. And guys, I'm going to appreciate. Let me know, guys, where you are coming from. This is Hope's Adventures, guys, coming all the way from Kenya. Coming all the way from Nairobi, Kenya, guys. How are you doing today, guys? How are you doing today, guys? I'm trying to balance my light. Let me just put this bulb so that I can see if it's going to balance. I think now it's better. It's a little bit better, guys. It's a little bit better. Very much better. How are you doing today, guys? That one is wow. How are you doing today, guys? Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for joining. How is your Wednesday, guys? How is your Wednesday, guys? How is your Wednesday, guys? You know, guys, kids have closed school. And they are making a lot of noise. They have closed school, but unfortunately, guys, they are making a lot of noise. Kids with noise. Thank you guys. With a lot of love. How are you doing today, guys? How are you doing today? Thank you so much, guys, for joining. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. This is Hope Adventures, joining all the way from Kenya, guys. Let me know, guys, where you are joining from. Let me know, guys, where you are joining from, guys. As I disconnect here, let me just disconnect. I'm good, guys. How are you doing today, guys? Oh, kids, today they are not as so, guys. It's night time and they are making a lot of noise. So don't worry, guys, when you hear the background noise. Kids are making a lot of noise. Kids are making a lot of noise. Otherwise, guys, let me know where you are coming from. Let me know your country. Let me know where you are watching from. As well, guys, as I understand how you are feeling on this great Wednesday. Wednesday is always a very important day. It's the midweek, guys. It's the midweek, guys. It's a day where we get a lot of energy, where we should reflect so that we get a lot of energy, so that we are able to complete. Uh, we are able to complete the week. This is Zakala. Zakala, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining with a lot of love. Thank you so much for joining with a lot of love, Zakala. How are you doing today? How are you doing today, Zakala? How are you doing today? And everyone else, let's like the live, guys. Let's like the live. Let's like the live, guys, as well. We can share with others, guys. We can share with others. And guys, I'm going to appreciate. Zakara, how are you doing? Where are you joining from? Thank you guys for joining. How are you doing this great Wednesday? Thank you so much, guys, for the likes. Thank you so much, guys, for the likes. Thank you so much, guys, for the likes. Hi to at Zakala. Thank you guys for joining. How are you doing, guys? Oh, let's keep on liking the live. Let's keep on liking the live, guys. Do you play game, bro? I do. This is Kabua. How are you doing, Dorcas? How are you doing today, Dorcas? Dorcas, how are you doing today? Let's play one game, Dorcas. Which game do you love us to play? Dorcas. Dorcas, thank you so much, Dorcas Kabua. Which part of Kenya, Dorcas, are you joining from? Which part of Kenya are you joining from, Dorcas? Do you play Roblox? I can teach you. There was this one guy who was trying to teach me about that game. But for us, I'm more customized to play online games. Online games, I am not so sure. Online games, I'm not so sure. but I love a lot of games. Like I love a lot of. No, they are kids. They are kids that are making a lot of noise outside here. Yeah. They are kids that are making a lot of noise here. I'm in the market. I'm in the market, Kabua. Hmm? I'm in the market. Kids making a lot of noise. Yeah, they are oh, thank you so much, Kabua. Thank you so much, Kabua. Thank you so much, Dorcas. Dorcas, thank you so much. Yeah, you know market code. When you talk about market, you meet all kind of people. Kids. Yeah. You meet everyone. You just meet everyone. So there are kids that are outside here, and I'm telling them not to make a lot of noise, but they are still making a lot of noise. But they are still making a lot of noise. So tell me more about Roblox. Tell me more about Roblox. Hmm? Tell me more about. Thank you for the sub. Thank you, bro. I am impressed you have 1K subscribers. Oh, thank you so much. I'm always grateful each and every day. You know. Someone is calling. Who is this? Let me just answer this call. Hello. One is good. Pin. Ko sawa?
Yes.
Hiyo maneno iko good. At least sasa hii nikikunywa nitakuwa nime warm up.
Itakuwa sawa, kabaridi katatokea.
Thank you.
Hai.
Okay. Thank you guys for joining. How are you doing today, guys? Thank you guys for joining. If this is your first time, guys, welcome to Hopes Adventures, guys. This is where we meet. This is where, guys, we talk. This is where, we converge. Each and everyone, we converge here each and every day, guys. And we talk matters, different matters pertaining to life, different matters pertaining to different issues that we face in life. And guys, if this is your first time, guys, kindly, guys, let's keep on subscribing in this platform, guys. You can also, guys, share. You can also, guys, share the live. You can share the live with others. And guys, I will always be very, very appreciative, guys. Each time you share, guys, I get more impressed, and I feel that guys, that we are moving in the right direction, guys. I also want to thank and appreciate everyone, for the way that you have supported this platform. You have made us, to come this far. Without you, guys, it will always be in vain. So guys, you can contribute. You can always contribute, where we talk about different issues, and you can contribute by sharing the live. You can contribute by subscribing, guys, and most importantly, guys, you can also like. You can also like, which is a very, very important thing in this platform, guys. And guys, you can also, by extension, guys, you can also, support this platform by always, contributing to what we ask, to the questions that we ask each and every day, to the different matters that we try and explore each and every day, where maybe you can vote. You can also contribute to our topic. For instance, today, guys, we have a very critical topic, where we are really asking, is it wrong for our leaders? Is it wrong for our leaders to fight in public? That's the question, guys, that we are asking today. Is it wrong for our leaders to fight in public? And you can vote. You can also vote for this question, where we are asking, should our leaders fight in public? Should our leaders fight in public? Where I can see 100% are saying no, and 0% they are saying, 0% means that no one is supporting that issue. So it's a very, very important topic. It's a very, very important topic, where we really talk about, the decency. It's all about the decency of a reader. It's all, guys, about the decency of a reader in the public domain. So it's very, very important for us to understand, and for us to explore if there is need for our leaders to fight in the public domain. That's the question, guys. We really want to delve, we really want to explore today, which I believe is a very, very important issue, especially when we come to good governance and leadership, guys. And the reason why I have really focused on this issue is because today on several occasions, on several occasions, I have always tried, to ask questions that really matters, the questions that are really affecting us each and every day. And on several occasions, as a citizen, I have always seen, readers sometimes in the public domain, maybe readers having different opinion, and in the process, maybe they are trying to justify something. And maybe since thank you so much for that, like, I really want to appreciate. And since maybe these leaders are really having what we may call dissenting, or maybe they are having what we may call the divergent opinion, in the process it justified that at times these leaders always tend to fight, and they fight in the public domain. So we really want to explore, is it ethical, is it an ethical thing, maybe for our leaders maybe to keep on fighting in the public domain? That's a very fundamental question. Is a question that really need a lot of thinking in terms of maybe the way we perceive a leader, something that is very critical, something that is very critical, guys. So as understanding, if leaders should fight, I think is something that is very critical. If they should fight in the public domain, I think it's a very critical thing. I think that's a very critical thing. I can see a lot of, I don't know, let me just try and clean this so I can see if things are going to change. Wow, magic has happened. I think I think it had some dates, but all the same, I think it's now working. I think it's now better. So guys, it's always a good practice for us to understand and for us to appreciate if leaders, at the end of the day, they should fight in the public domain. I have seen here internally, most of the times our leaders may be tending to fight because maybe they are having different issues, or maybe we are having a certain issue that really need to be discussed. And in the process, maybe when these leaders dissent, or maybe if these leaders meet, you just find that they are even coming to an extent where they can fight. They are coming to an extent where they can even fight in the public domain. And we really want to understand why why these leaders maybe demonstrate a very different picture, especially when they keep on fighting in the public domain. And it has always been argued that whether it's wrong for leaders to fight in the public is a subjective debate, because each and every person really has their own view. But the truth of the matter is, leaders, I think, in terms of our society, they are among the highest. Being a leader is one of the key positions that you can be able to attain within a certain social setting. And therefore, when leaders keep on fighting within the public domain, It's something that can be debatable. It's something that can be seen to be, or something that can perceive to be a good thing or to be a bad thing. And it all depends with the circumstance. But when I look from a holistic point of view, I always feel that it's very wrong for leaders, to settle their scores. You really want to settle your score, maybe with your competitor, because when these leaders fight at the end of the day, it's all about maybe political supremacy. Most of them are really fighting for what we may call the political supremacy. They really want to show the public, yeah, who is who in the public domain. Thank you so much, guys, for joining with a lot of love. Thank you so much, guys, for joining with a lot of love. Let's keep on liking the live, guys. We can also share. We can share the live with others. We can also subscribe if this is the first time that you are joining this platform, guys. And more to that, you can also contribute to our today topic, where we are really asking, is it wrong for our leaders to fight in public? That's the question that we are asking, guys. Is it wrong for our leaders to fight in the public? Yeah, should leaders fight in our public? So in public, sorry, should leaders fight in public? So guys, you can vote. Your vote matters, your subscription matters, your like matters, and even sharing, guys, really matters a lot. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. This is Hope Adventures once again, joining all the way from Kenya, guys. So let me know where you are joining, guys, from, and I will appreciate. So guys, I was saying that when leaders fight in the public domain, it's something that can be debatable. It's something that can be debatable, where maybe some people who support a certain leader may justify that maybe the fight was worth. On the other hand, maybe the other people maybe that are not supporting maybe the two fighting characters or the two fighting leaders, they may perceive it to be a very negative thing. So according to, in my own perception and in my own view, I believe that when leaders settle their score in the public domain, in terms of fighting, in terms of causing chaos, in terms of maybe sending goons, in terms of maybe using the young people so that maybe they can be able to fight, I think that's a very wrong approach, guys. And one thing that most of these leaders don't understand, especially when they fight in the public domain, is all about the erosion of public trust. Public trust is very important, especially maybe when you are in a higher position within the society. And when you really fight in the public domain, you are really eroding your public image. We always say that image is very much important. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. Let's like the live, guys. Let's share the live, as well as, guys, we can also subscribe, and guys, I'm going to appreciate. So anytime I see two leaders fighting in the public domain, I always see they are taking the route of maybe tarnishing their public image, because at the end of the day, even if you had even if you had that form of a respect to a certain leader, when you see them fight, you always have your perception always start to change. Your perception always start to change, and you just feel that things are not going very right. So leaders, because I know most of us, we are leaders in our own capacity. Maybe you are leading a certain institution, maybe you are leading your own home, your own house, maybe you are leading where you work. You are leading a certain team, maybe to do a certain thing. Maybe even you might be a prefect in an institution. You are still a leader. So we lead in different capacities within our societies. That's the thing. We lead in different capacities within our society, and it's always good for us to always keep this kind of a notion at the back of our mind, that anytime, even if we have some competitors, yeah, anytime we even have our competitors, and maybe we are having what we may call different public opinion, public opinion and perceptions of maybe a certain issue. It's always a very negative thing for us to keep on fighting in the public domain, because we don't really want to erode our, we don't really want to erode our public image. Yeah, we don't really want to keep on creating what we may call the apathy, and when you become too chaotic, even if people really really loved you to an extent that maybe they believe that maybe you are the best person who can do a certain activity, or maybe who can lead them to a certain way, in a certain way, then at the end of the day, there is what we may call the decline in engagement with different people, engagement with different people from different levels. So it's always good for us to appreciate that, for us to be, to have that kind of a belief where people really want us, people really want to trust us. We must desist from having any form of chaos within the public domain. The other reason, guys, why I also believe that leaders should, by all means, restrain themselves from fighting in the public domain, is the essence of what we may call the mainstream toxicity. It's always said that when leaders use aggressive means, when leaders use aggressive means that are perceived to be violent, to be demeaning, then this one really leads to what we may call the polarization. They are always going to perceive you as a person or as an individual, maybe who can cause what we are calling violence, who can cause violence. And this one can really, really worsen, especially when people are leading at different levels within our society. Fighting, as I have always said, fighting is always an ineffective way to solve issues. Fighting is always an ineffective way of solving issues. And even if maybe you are championing, or maybe you are backing up a certain policy, it's always good for you to understand and to appreciate that you can do it in a more civilized manner. You can do it in a more civilized manner, because at the end of the day, when you do it in a public domain where maybe you are fighting with others, whereby maybe you are name calling others, I believe that this is one of the highest ineffective way of handling issues. As leaders, as we have said, maybe working at different levels, doing different things within our society, it's always good to keep that kind of a decency. It's always good to keep decency. It's always a very very instrumental thing for us to appreciate that we need to conduct ourselves in such a way that it's effective. Even if we really want to deliver a certain message to the public, and that we are really dissenting, or we are not really a certain message that we are not even really believing in, it's always critical for us to focus on doing it in the light way. I have always had people in very high offices, each and every day, tending to shed a lot of vulgar language between one another. And I'm always worried. Especially when I see maybe the top leaders each and every day, trying to fight, trying to name call others in the public podiums or in public events, something that has always left me with a lot of discomfort. So it's always an effective way, it's always an effective way of solving issues, and we can prevent this by having what we call the constructive dialogue, even if I'm really not believing in a certain way. I always believe that one of the civilized way maybe I can be able to handle an issue is just having what we may call a positive discourse, where I communicate with others. I tell them, what if we do ABCD, so that maybe we can alter, we can alter the entire process. We can network, will it be effective? But most of our leaders, the ones that I have seen, most of them, they really want to act with a lot of emotions. And the moment you act with a lot of emotions, then at the end of the day, things do not work out. And as a matter of fact, you are going to widen, the discourse, the discomfort. And each and every day you meet, you just have your group, they have their group, and then at the end of the day, it's all about commotions each and every day. So as a responsible reader, I always believe that it's always very ineffective. It's an ineffective way of solving issues, because I believe at any level, of governance or leadership that we have, we can always focus on having what we may call the positive dialogues, and we can make it even necessary, to pass or even to champion for what we believe for. However, I think that form of a notion, whereby we really want to reinforce on positive dialogue, I think it's getting away from our leaders each and every day, because for now I don't believe that we should have the kind of the political discourse that we are having between nations, where nations are fighting each and every day. The public is not engaged. People are fighting right, left, and center. And they are not fighting because they have any interest, because leaders have their own interest. So you just find that this leader A is fighting leader B, and then at the end of the day, you just find that the entire thing would have been effective if those leaders really called for what we may call the positive dialogue. So positive dialogue is very, very important, especially when we really want to enforce on issues. Also, guys, I believe that when leaders keep on fighting in public domain, this is also a very ineffective way. This is also a very ineffective way, as we are really setting what we may call poor example. Poor example. As I said, there is a clerical call for all of us, as leaders at any position, be it a church leader, be it a school leader, be it a leader in your family, be it a leader at any capacity that you are serving, that you set what we may call a better example instead of a poor example. Because when you really set what we may call a poor example, this is where maybe you believe that you are above, maybe you believe that you're above the law. This is where maybe you believe that your point or maybe your perspective is above any other view, and therefore you just believe that you are supreme. I believe that when we set what we may call good examples, to the people that we lead, to what we do, I believe that we are setting what we may call better standards. This is a way of setting better standards, instead of engaging in what we may call petty squabbles, that violate the dignity of even the people that we are leading. It's not all about the public office, because I believe that each and every person, that's what I always believe, that each and every person, despite their position, maybe in their society, we are all leaders at different levels. Maybe you are leading others, yeah. Maybe you are leading others, maybe in taking a certain project, you are still a leader. Maybe you are doing, you are heading a family, you are still a leader. Maybe you have some kind of an expert that others do not have, you are still a leader. So we serve leadership in different capacities within our society, and therefore we must appreciate that when we set poor examples, then at the end of the day we are setting ways to which we violate the dignity of the people. We are setting a poor example in such a way that even the people that we are leading, even the project that we are leading, even everything that we are doing, maybe within our social setting, is will always emerge as faulty because we are not reading using the best examples. However, some people have seen, some people still argue that leaders fighting in the public is key, and there is an argument. That's the reason why I say this is an ethical issue, because they are they are those that believe that fighting in public is not a good thing, but there are those that really believe, what, for us maybe to have what we may call democracy, for us maybe to have about maybe for us to have democracy, even if leaders fight in the public domain, that's an element of democracy. There is that argument that for democracy to grow, maybe leaders should project maybe on their view about different issues, and in the process, even when maybe issues erupt, even when issues erupt, then at the end of the day, maybe they can be able to handle it in different ways. For instance, today, guys, I saw this good example where maybe I believe maybe they followed this route whereby maybe they think that leaders fighting in public is a form of democracy. Here in Kenya, guys, if you are a Kenyan and maybe maybe you have heard about this story, but this is the story, or this is the talk of the day. We as Kenyans, we always believe that the democracy is very, very important. Yeah. We are among the few nations, we are among the few nations maybe in Africa that really believe that democracy is very, very important, and we always really want to handle our leaders at every level of accountability, and therefore I saw this critical example today, whereby we had an issue. Two of the key leaders in this nation, they are governors. Here our structure is a very, very unique structure, in such a way that we have the president, then we have the counties that are held by governors, and the governors they are really scrutinized by the Senate, or what we call the upper house, the Senate, and then we have the members of parliament, and our members of parliament, they are the lawmakers. And therefore, guys, for every, each and every year, for any nation, they do what we call allocation of public resources, and we do it at the national level and at the county level. So we do it at the national level, and we also do it at the county level. And therefore, guys, in the past 2 days, we have some two governors, that were called by the Senate. We have what we call the Senate public account, something of sort. This is a team. This is a team that has been selected by the Senate, which always keep on asking governors about the issues of accountability. Maybe they tell them, you are allocated maybe 10 billion, and we really want to understand how maybe you have utilized, or how maybe you have spent your 10 billions maybe in the last financial year. And therefore, for the past 2 days, we had this case where two governors were called to go to the Senate, but unfortunately, they hide. they went into hiding. Yeah, two governors, yeah, they went into hiding, and unfortunately, they were not scrutinized. They are not scrutinized by the Senate, and therefore today, guys, one of the governors was seen, trodden within the city. Yeah, strolling. Let me not use the word trotting, but strolling. Strolling within the city, and he was seen by the same senators that they were asking for him. He is him, not she. For him, and I saw a fight that ensued between the senators and this governor, because they really wanted to force, they really wanted to force this governor to appear before the committee. And therefore, what I saw, it's a clip. What I saw, it was a fight, because the governor has his team, and now these are the senators, and these senators, they called me to go to appear before them, so that maybe I can answer question ABCD about maybe how I have used the public funds. And since I didn't attend, then they have seen a chance where maybe they can, they have seen me maybe within the CBD, the Central Business District, where maybe I was just doing my own thing. And since they asked for me and I went into hiding, and now they have seen an opportunity where maybe they can take me by force, to the Senate. Then a fight ensued between the governor and his people and these senators. And when I was trying to conceptualize on the entire issue, that's where now this topic came in. This is where now this topic came in. Should our leaders fight in public? And to what extent should we be able to demonstrate maybe on our leadership capacity? It's a very, very good topic to explore, because this is not the first case where leaders are really, really fighting in the public domain. It's something that I have seen. I remember there was a time, most of the times, on several occasions, when we have maybe some elections, you have your own team, they have their own team, another guy has his own team, and in the process, maybe we just find ourselves, maybe we are doing campaign, and these most of these politicians, they are licensed with guns. So in the process, when these politicians talk about this issue, and maybe the other one he is dissenting with that issue, you just find even they shoot. They can shoot, they can fire up the gun. Their team can fight. That all that kind of thing. And therefore, there are those that really believe that even if leaders are fighting in the public domain, maybe that's part of their democracy. I don't know really what ensued today was part of democracy or it was not part of democracy, because what I saw it as a fight. I saw it as a fight, between the leaders. These leaders, the Senate or the senators, they are fighting the governor. And I saw it to be a very, very interesting thing, because I think this is something that I had not seen in the past. People of such high caliber maybe fighting in the public. I think that one was very, very interesting, and something that maybe they really believed that it was essential for their democracy, maybe to exercise it. Then I think now this is where these senators were fighting at this point, because at the end of the day, there are those that really believe that, what, even if you see us fighting in the public, we really want to have what we may call transparency. It has always been argued that for citizens maybe to, for citizens maybe for citizen issues to be tackled by their leaders, and how to tackle them well. then at the end of the day they need to be pressured, for them maybe to be kept on the track. I think this is maybe what ensued. I think this is maybe what ensued between this governor and the senators, because at the end of the day it was a kind of a commotion, but I really understand the senators, because one, this governor was asked to appear before the committee, but the governor hesitated maybe to appear before the committee, and therefore maybe these senators, the best option they saw was always maybe we must take you there, we must take you there, so that maybe you can answer ABCD question about the issue of transparency and the issue of accountability. So I think the senators really wanted, to ensure that transparency was met, which is also a very important component, especially when we come to readers and especially when we come to leaders and governance. The other issue, guys, is all about when you see some of these leaders fighting in the public domain. Is all about there are those that argue that they are really challenging what we call the status quo, because at the end of the day, it has always been believed, that populism always have projected that it's very long for leaders maybe to fight in the public domain, but since there are those that are really challenging the status quo, the the entire thinking behind maybe fighting in the public domain, maybe they really want to, they really want even to tell the followers that at the end of the day, uh, if these leaders do not even listen to you, maybe you can use ABCD measures. Yeah, you can also discipline them, and then at the end of the and then at the end of the day, maybe they will be able to deliver. Kesho, they'll be able maybe to deliver maybe their issues, maybe your issues, which is also very important. So guys, this is entirely a very important, this is a very important way of looking at things. There are those that really believe that leaders fighting in the public domain, there is nothing with that, but there are also others, there are also others that really believe that, what, leaders fighting in the public domain is not a very good picture. So it all depends with what you believe. It all depends with your perspective, because your perspective is very important. And therefore we have what we may call the experts. The experts have always said, we have what we call the positive criticism, where the experts have said, what, when you see some of our leaders fighting in the public domain, maybe they are, maybe they are disagreeing over different issues, which is part of democracy. Maybe they can disagree over issues of policy, maybe they can disagree over the issues of law and actions, and I think this is the current world that we are in. I have seen on so many occasions our parliamentarians, fight. Our parliamentarians fight because maybe they really wanted to pass a certain bill, and or maybe a certain bill is not popular, and maybe the bill has to go or has to sail through the parliament, and then at the end of the day, since that bill has to be sailed, have to be sailed through the parliament, for those maybe that do not really believe in that bill, they then now starting commotion. On various occasions, I have seen what we call the county, the county assemblies, we call them the county assemblies, fighting for issues of bills. Maybe a certain bills was passed, and maybe that bill didn't even have what we call the majority, and in the process of passing that bill, on various occasions, I have seen some county assemblies fight with chairs. They fight with chairs because one, maybe a certain, maybe the speaker, sorry, maybe the speaker passes a certain bill, and the representatives that were there, they were not for that bill, and then since they is perceived not to be very fair, then you just find that at the end of the day, maybe they are really fighting. Some fights are always nasty. Like I saw another one last year, where the county assembly, one of the county assemblies here in Kenya, passed a certain law. It passed some specific guidelines, and those guidelines, according to the majorities, they were saying no, and therefore now what had really to yeah, what had really had to ensue was all about fighting in the public. So those members of county assembly, they all stood, they took their shares, and it was time now to fight. If you are supporting the speaker's side, you are being beaten by those that were against that bill. And when you look at it, this is what the expert says, that sometimes we really need to have what we may call the constructive criticism, where maybe we can disagree over policies, maybe where we can disagree over laws, or we can even disagree over certain actions. And then at the end of the day, you just find that it's all about fighting. So you just find that people are really fighting. Similarly, same experts have also unveiled that when you see leaders fighting in the public domain, when you see leaders fighting in the public domain, that's a form of corrosive conflict. That's a form of corrosive conflict, whereby maybe they are trying to dehumanize maybe their opponent, maybe they are trying to intimidate or even to insult their opponent, which is something perceived to be very demeaning in the public domain. So they say, well, the former is seen as necessary for health and democracy, then leaders at the end of the day, they might even fail to deliver their promises to the people. So it's always good, in as much as we are going to disagree in various issues, in different issues within our society. It's always very important for us to appreciate that when we disagree too much, without having what we may call the constructive, maybe having what we may call the conclusive ways of maybe agreeing on on some of the key issues that we are disagreeing with, then at the end of the day we might be very ineffective. We might be very ineffective to delivering our promise to the people that we lead, because at the end of the day, what is important is the people that we lead. So it's always, as we have said, it can be seen as a democratic process, whereby maybe you want to challenge your opponent maybe in the public domain. That's a part of, we have said that's part of democracy. But at the end of the day, we also really want to maintain, the dignity that we have, at any positions that we have within our society. So it's always very challenging, yeah, especially when you are reading in any kind of position, because at the end of the day, your reputation, the way you handle people, the way you talk, the way you resolve issues, matters, and it's of great deal. So if you do it in a more humane way, I think that's the way of having a very good form of leadership. Yeah, that's a form of That's a form of what we call the servanthood. Yeah, because servanthood is very, very important. And for us to keep on hitting on our operations as leaders, we really want to demonstrate, and we really want to the people that we lead for them to attain the maximum benefit that they can attain from our leadership and our governance. Because at the end of the day, it really matters. The way we read others is very, very key to ensuring that uh, we take them to the places that they would really wish to reach for them to succeed maybe in life. So guys, I think for today that one is very, very critical, and as I said, this was more of an issue that is debatable if readers should fight in public, and there are those that are really for, for that leaders fighting in public is a form of democracy, is a way of asking their opponent maybe to be accountable on different issues. On the other hand, as we have said, leadership also matters. Leadership also matters, especially when we really want to ensure that we don't erode our public trust, especially we don't erode our public trust when we really want to restrain our toxicity, when we really want to be effective, and when we really want to set very good examples. Those are some of the key ways those are some of the key issues that we should be very, very sensitive with, especially when we really want our leadership and governance to be long lasting and to be something that has an impact within our society. So guys, I think I'm going to end up at that point. As always, this is your #1 YouTube channel, Hopes Adventures. Guys, let's keep on supporting the platform. Today guys, we really had another new video. So guys, I really want to beseech you that you check it out. So many videos keep coming through. So guys, let's stay connected. As always guys, thank you with a lot of love. Let's meet tomorrow, same place, same time, with a lot of love guys. Until tomorrow, ciao guys.